years after murdering his sister on Halloween night 1963, Michael Myers escapes from a mental hospital and returns to the small town of Haddonfield, Illinois, aka South Pasadena, to kill again. It is, of course, Halloween, a franchise that has defined the holiday and slasher films for generations to come, and that is what we are talking about today with our very special guest, Sean Clark. He is a person for whom Halloween and horror has become a way of life. Chances are, if you've attended any number of Halloween conventions or watched the special features on a whole slew of Halloween and horror franchise home video releases, you have encountered Sean. He's also got a super popular YouTube series called Horror's Hallowed Grounds, where he takes fans to the filming locations of popular horror films. And most recently, he started his own podcast with Chris Nelson. It's called The Thing with Two Heads. Sean Clark, welcome back to the show. We are so glad to have you today, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I feel so at home, like I've been here before. It's crazy.
Deja vu. Yep.
I don't know what's going on there. Jake, what do you got behind you there? Who's your guest?
Oh, I don't know. Just a friend that was down here and expired, I guess.
The Crypt Keeper.
Yeah, there you go. It's a Crypt Keeper. Yep.
Right before the show started, Jake, you were asking Sean about a special collectible that he has just secured. What was that? What was he talking about? What is that?
He was asking me about these. He saw my video I posted on my YouTube channel of me doing a review on these, where I did it completely inebriated by accident. So I did the real review, and then I took this footage that I have no memory of ever filming, and I added it to the end as a bonus. And it's pretty funny. I'm mumbling, I'm nodding out. I actually pass out for 20 minutes at one point, but I fast forwarded it.
Yeah, the time lapses, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can see me. Yeah.
I think I found it. You're wearing an orange shirt?
Yeah, I think I was wearing that red waxwork shirt.
Oh, red. Okay. Yeah. And this is where I pass out for 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, I say some funny shit. For some reason, the one that people seem to like the most is I said /tastic. I've never said that before in my life. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
Sounds like a hashtag.
Yeah, you got to watch that video. It's so great.
All right.
I also made a comment about having to put the shoelaces away or people would start fighting over them. I don't know what that meant, but anyway.
For those of you who are watching who have never, you may not be familiar with Sean. Sean, can you tell us how you personally became part of the Halloween fandom? I mean, you're not just a fan. You've actually become part of the fandom itself. It changed everything about your life. If you can kind of like walk us through that a little bit and just kind of give us an idea of your background.
Oh God, it's a weird long path that got me to here, but it's all connected to the original Halloween film. I started off making these Myers masks, not knowing anything about licensing or any of that stuff. This is like back in 1994 or 5, around the same time I started doing the location stuff, and that was just a hobby. And one thing just spilled into the next. Next thing I know, I'm putting on the 25th anniversary convention. That rolled into us doing the 25 Years of Terror documentary. Then I took over the Halloween conventions into the 30th, 35th, 40th. Ended up doing, bonus features on almost every Halloween DVD release, including winning a Saturn Award for the oh, I just got a text from Daniel Harris. Name drop.
That's cool.
Including a Saturn Award for the box set. And then representing celebrities for conventions. And it's crazy. It's a crazy path I took, but it's always in one way or another involved the Halloween franchise. So I'm very grateful and indebted to the Halloween franchise, because without that, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys.
That's fantastic. And Jake, you're a giant fan. I mean, like, Jake was so excited to come on and talk with us, and I'm so glad about that. But Jake, what about I think Halloween 3 was your first film you saw, right?
Yeah, who are you? Who is this Jake guy?
Who is he? You know what?
Hey.
By the way, my name is
Right.
Jake. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Yeah.
I'm Jake from the Jacoba system. Old friend of Luke's from, kindergarten? Ever since then, yeah.
Fourth grade.
Fourth grade, yeah.
I knew of you in third grade because you drew a killer Bambi, and I'm like, I wandered in another classroom, like, this kid drew Bambi, and it's better than my art, and I'm like, who is this guy? So I had this like unspoken rivalry till we were in fourth grade, and we started drawing like Sonic and Power Rangers, and then became friends.
Yeah. So old friend of Luke's, we've been movie fans, for years, and grew up watching all these horror movies together, and had a lot of fun. Actually, Halloween, the original Halloween was my first one.
Okay.
I think you're confusing my Jaws 3 story, which was my dad tried to rent Jaws, and he got it from the video store, and they put Jaws 3 in the box by accident. So that was my first Jaws movie. But I think I've seen the Halloween movies in chronological order.
Oh, you did?
But yeah, pretty sure.
Well, thank you, Jake, for being on the show today. Also, Luke, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Cheeseman here with thescareguy.com. Jake, I think with Jake, I watched Halloween for the first time. It's one of those ones where you don't lie to your parents, but you only tell them the good movies that you saw that were like PG or PG-13, and don't tell them, oh, I watched Halloween as well, watched The Shining and all this other stuff. But my first Halloween experience was with Jake. I didn't really grow up watching a ton of horror because I had too much of an imagination as a kid, and I'd like see things in the night and other things. So I just kind of messed with my head a little bit too much, or my imagination would be the best of me. But once I knew Jake, he corrupted me and watching like all the Nightmare on Elm Street type thing.
Yeah, your mom wasn't a big fan of me showing you all these movies and copying tapes, like giving you the Scream and stuff like that.
Yeah. He had a killer snack drawer though, and we'd end up watching like 5 or 6 movies in just one overnight kind of thing.
The funny thing is that my mom didn't really care about certain movies, but remember I had The Lost Boys, and it was taped off TV, like taped off TNT or something, so it's edited, and it's not even that graphic of a movie to begin with. And my mom was like, "No, you guys aren't watching that movie." I'm like, "Why not? It's taped off TV." She's like, "No."
But you can run Species.
Yeah, you're not showing Luke The Lost Boys. Like, okay.
Well, we are here today to talk about Halloween, a movie. By the way, my name is Jim Frye. I am the managing editor here at thescareguy.com, also theconguy.com, and this is Don't Fear the Podcast, which we do for that hashtag show. Love those guys. I know that they are big fans of Halloween, and Junior over there, he's a big fan of Sean, and he just loves everything, all your videos and everything. So we are really excited to have Sean on with us this week. My introduction to Halloween, I was a kid. I went to a slumber party. I was, 4th grade, 5th grade, and one of the kids told us the story of Halloween, most of it. And you would think that would kind of ruin it, but it just made me all that more eager to see it. And then in 1980, I think it came on television. The special television version of Halloween was the first time I had seen it. And I remember my mom watched it as well. And for like about 3 or 4 weeks after that, we would all wake up in the middle of the night hearing my mom screaming because she kept on seeing the Michael Myers mask everywhere she went. It terrorized her. She told me this year she tried to watch it again, and she had to turn it off because it just brought back so much fear to her. So, Mom, if you watch this, you need to watch it all the way through. So, it is a movie that I can honestly say kind of like Sean, it changed my perspective on the Halloween holiday. It made me love horror movies. It is the movie that changed everything to me. So I have a question for Sean right now. Sean, can we talk for just a second about Halloween, the original 1978 John Carpenter Halloween? It was a game changer. Why was it such a game changer? What was before Halloween, and why do you think Halloween itself was such a monumental event?
Gosh, I don't know why. I just know, I first saw as a kid in 78 when that was being advertised. I was 7 years old, and I remember seeing the commercial on TV. Remember it very vividly, that ending of the TV commercial where he's coming down the stairs and they freeze frame him, and it's all the night he came home. And I remember that commercial terrifying me. And then I saw the I went to the drive-in with my parents and saw they went to see some other movie, and I watched Halloween out the back window of the car, and it with no sound, and it was even more terrifying with no sound, like just trying to figure out what was going on. But why it worked so well, I don't know. I mean, I guess, first off, Halloween is such a big part of American culture that we all related to it. And, obviously what had come prior to that. I mean, the closest thing, I think the biggest influence on Halloween was Bob Clark's Black Christmas.
Right.
Which is very similar. But John took it to the next level. I mean, he kind of stole that POV vibe of the killer, but then added, a face, which became the most iconic face in horror, William Shatner's.
It's a scary dude.
Yeah.
It is.
Black Christmas, do they ever say who the killer is?
Billy.
It's been a while since.
Yeah.
Billy, okay.
He says his name. He says, "It's me, Billy." Okay. Yeah.
And we talked before, but the idea for Halloween, and bringing John Carpenter on, can you give us a little bitty history on how did this movie get put together? How did John Carpenter become part of it?
Well, I don't remember exactly how he became part of it. I know that I think it had something to do with just trying to get the next project after Assault on Precinct 13 done,
right?
With Irwin Yablans, and Irwin basically came up with the idea of the babysitter murders, and that was the genesis of what became Halloween. And then they went to the Accords for additional financing. So yeah, I mean, I think the idea started with Irwin Yablans.
Yeah. And then I heard the story, John Carpenter he was pulled off for a bit during the screenwriting part, and Deborah Hill, she kind of did the first pass, and then John came back and did a pass, and then John, he required that, she was part, because Deborah Hill had less experience than John did. They came on, they did it together, and then John also wanted his name above the title, which was kind of a ballsy statement to make back then, but he got it, and did he have final cut? Do you remember?
Yeah, that was the other thing he demanded, that he wanted final cut. Yeah,
that's so great, so great.
I mean, and they gave him those things because he said he could make it for $300,000, which Akkad was like, that's crazy. If you can really pull that off, you can have whatever you want, So,
and he did it.
Yeah.
And that cinematography, the cinematography of Halloween 1978 was just freaking amazing, especially for being an independent, low-budget film. It just is still, to this day, one of the most beautifully shot films.
Well, Dean Cundy's an incredible cinematographer. I mean, look, he went on to do Back to the Future, Jurassic Park. I mean, he shot the bulk of the best Carpenter films, until Gary Kibbe kind of took over in the late 80s and started doing all of John's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the opening shot
passed away recently, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, the opening shot of Halloween is so great because it kind of tricks you into thinking it's all one continuous shot, but there are a few edits in it, but they happen so subtly you don't even notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that opening shot, wasn't that one of the first uses of the Steadicam?
The Panaglide.
Yeah.
Inspired by Rocky, I'm sure.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the characters and why Halloween still stands out to this day. Let's just talk about her. Jamie Lee Curtis. She is the ultimate scream queen. This was her first role, and it was a big get for them to have. Hey, and I know, Sean, you personally, Jamie. You've worked with her in a few different times. Can you tell us a little bit about Jamie coming on board, what she thought about it, and how maybe even your relationship with her?
Well, I mean, all I know is what she has said, in interviews and whatnot, that basically she was just thrilled to be a lead, I've heard her tell the story that she kept turning the pages of the script and it kept saying Lori, 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 and she was like, I can't believe this. I'm going to play this character. So she was just thrilled that she was the lead in a movie. As far as my relationship with her, I was fortunate enough to do that convention with her.
Mm-hmm.
And, she's great. I mean, she's just such a pro. She's such a giving person. She's really taken her celebrity and used it for so much good. She's, out there right now, really pushing hard on trying to get people out to vote. And she just gets behind her causes. Very passionate, very real person,
Yeah, I remember her at the Comic-Con event that we went to right before the new movie came out, the 2018 movie, where there was somebody in the audience that really related to her in such a big way. And she was in front of a room, 5,000 people. She said, stop. She gets off the stage, goes down and talks to that guy privately off to the side and hugs. And they just have a moment. And it was pretty touching. You can tell she's got a good heart. It was good to see.
Absolutely.
And her as a person, she said a lot in interviews, is different from the Laurie Strode character, because she said she felt more like the other girls in it. So it was kind of interesting. She got to kind of play something very different than her personality.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about those other girls, Luke. Let's talk about the other characters who were part of this.
Totally.
Let's talk about PJ Souls as Linda, and let's also talk about. Oh, I'm forgetting the name. I wrote her name down here.
Nancy Loomis.
Yeah, that
Annie.
As Annie. So let's talk a little bit about them, Sean. Have you had both of them at conventions?
Yes. I mean, I don't work with Nancy, but I do know her. I work with PJ. As a matter of fact, quick plug, she's our next guest on the Thing with Two Heads that's dropping on Halloween.
Nice.
So she's our big Halloween guest on Saturday. And she is one of the sweetest people you'll ever meet. PJ is just such a sweetheart. Love her to death. She's probably not. I would say she's nice to a fault. She's so nice that I think people take advantage of her. That's how nice she is, and I'm always on her about that. I fight with her all the time about it, because I'll be like, PJ, but I feel bad if I'm like, PJ, come on, I mean, she
take that kid's money.
Yeah. Yeah, take the money, damn it. No.
Because she's appeared with you in a couple of your videos that you've released. Like I know in the Horse Hallowed Ground, she went on tour with you through the Pasadena.
Yeah, I owe her a great debt of gratitude, because she came in a total trooper in my very first episode ever back in 2005 and went to the locations with me. And, it was literally just a favor. I mean, she didn't know me that well. We knew each other because we had done the 25th convention, and we had interviewed her for the 25 Years of Terror documentary. But I wouldn't say we were friends like we are now. Yeah. And, she really did me a solid. I mean, it kind of legitimized that episode, having her with me going to those locations.
Yeah. And I remember at the 40th anniversary Halloween convention, which was the first Halloween convention I went to. I didn't live out here in California for the others, and I really regret not making those.
Shame.
But when it came to the autograph tables, there were two lines that were super long. Everybody wanted an autograph, but PJ, I mean, she was the queen of the ball. Everyone wanted to get her signature, and she was just so kind and gracious. And look, you got a picture with her, I think, at that event.
Yeah, when she kind of came off stage, I was one of those people that Sean would have been like, take that kid's money or something, but she kind of wandered off stage, and I was like, oh, maybe she'll let me get a picture real quick. And
she was super kind. Yeah,
I would have gone to her booth. Go to their booths, get the autographs. Support
go to that. Yeah, he's fantastic. But one of the other line that was probably just as long as hers was, who do you think it is?
Nick Castle.
Nick Castle, of course.
Yeah.
Tell you what, this guy, he's a legend. Tell us a little bit about Nick Castle and his involvement with the series and working with him.
Well, I mean, Nick, he only became Michael Myers because he wanted to watch John work. Him and John were buddies from film school. And when John got the gig, Nick asked John, hey, is it okay if I hang around set and kind of, see what you do and watch the process and, kind of learn? And John said, yeah, of course. If you're going to be hanging around set all the time, you want to play this character, you don't have to do anything. Just put on a mask and walk. And Nick was like, sure. So, I mean, it was literally that simple at how he became Michael Myers. And for years, Nick sort of, much like Jamie did for a while too, kind of shunned the Halloween thing, like, because he's an accomplished writer and director. He wants to be known as a filmmaker. He doesn't want to be known as a guy who walked around in a mask. So he didn't really get it. He really didn't understand the fandom and how special it was.
Right.
He was very resistant to it, and he tells the story that I tricked him into doing a convention, which I didn't trick him. I literally, much like Trump, I used the rules that were given to me to my advantage. So I'm smart. I'm smart for not paying taxes. I'm smart for getting Nick Castle in there. So what I did was he said, well, I don't want to do a Halloween thing, but if it was a Last Starfighter reunion or something, I go, ding. I immediately get on the phone, call my clients, Lance Guest and Catherine Mary Stewart, who I was already working with. And I said, hey, Last Starfighter reunion? They're like, of course. I called Dave Hagen from Monster Mania. Hey, how would you feel about a Last Starfighter reunion with Nick Castle, first convention ever? And he's like, yes, So, I called up Nick and I said, boom, Last Starfighter reunion, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. But there will be Halloween fans there, so you're going to have to sign some Halloween stuff. And he's like, okay. It was 99% Halloween stuff.
Nice.
Of course.
Awesome.
Now, I don't know, and Jake and Luke, you guys jump in as we go through, because I'm kind of plowing through all the characters here.
I keep always showing this when we have Sean on, but thanks to Sean, I got this nice signed picture of Nick Castle there.
There you go. That's a sweet one.
Yeah.
That's cool.
He was in the 2018 Halloween also, wasn't he?
And Halloween Kills. He has cameos. Nice. His big thing, apparently, I guess, I don't know if they're going to do this in Ends as well. If he does a cameo in that one, I don't know if he will. But every time you see Michael in a mirror, it's Nick.
Oh,
so
wow.
When you first see, when Jamie first sees Michael up in the window, it's a reflection in a mirror. That's Nick. In Halloween Kills, they did a similar thing where it's I can't really say, I'm not supposed to talk about the movie, but it's a mirror. It's a mirror.
That's cool.
When you see him.
Nice.
Now, did they do other inserts somewhere in the 2018?
That's it. He just did that one shot.
Just the mirror.
Wow.
Okay.
He did have a scene that was cut where he was unmasked as a neighbor, playing a neighbor. There was a scene where a dog was killed. They found a dog hanging from a tree. And they didn't add that footage for some reason in the on the Blu-ray as the cutscenes. I have pictures from it. And Nick was a neighbor. I don't know if it was supposed to be his dog, but he was in the scene, but they cut it.
That's very cool that it's Michael in the mirror, because that, like, just thematically, it's like it's a throwback. It's Jamie's memory. She's looking back to that original 1978 night. I think that's a really cool way to use him there. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Well, there's one other character that we do have to mention that I don't know if you ever were able to meet the great Donald Pleasant.
I was not.
Oh man, is there anything you can tell us about him? And because he really became one with the role, it was like it almost defined him.
Yeah, I mean, I never met him, so I don't know him. I've only heard the stories. I heard that he was a sweet man and loved his alcohol. And, I heard that he would get pretty sauced. Like, this is going more into the sequels.
Yeah.
Not so much the first film, but as the sequels went on, I heard he used to get pretty ripped on set. But as soon as they said action, he could just turn it on, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, he did get a little. It would go good with his character as the movies went because he'd get more crazy, like Loomis, just Michael, where is he?
Yeah. He did go crazy. And one other character, and then we'll jump on to the movie, which you said I think before I've heard you say you might enjoy watching even more than Halloween, which was part 2. But like first, if we can, and I see the shirt, I love that shirt, it's awesome. But before we do, can we talk about The House? Because you did the video series where you kind of went through and took everybody to all the locations. Can you talk about like the house and the locations and South Pasadena a little bit?
Yeah, it's weird, you know. I've been there recently so much. It's crazy how much I've been there recently. I've been to that house probably like 6 or 7 times in the last month. There's a bunch of stuff that's been going on, a lot of stuff I can't talk about, but some projects that we shot at the house.
Wow.
And there's we're doing some stuff at the Sugarmint Gallery right behind it, so we'd go over there. Like, James Jude Courtney was just in town for that shooting last week, and I and Chris Nelson all went over to the house, and he'd never seen it, so we showed it to him, and that was cool. I forgot, what was the question?
That's what you're telling us about, like the house, and like the house used to be in a different spot. They moved it, and then there's a lot of cool locations in South Pasadena and Hollywood if people ever want to take follow the steps of your first Hallowed Ground videos.
Yeah, I'm actually considering. I've never gone to South Pasadena on Halloween, and this year I think I might go.
Yeah,
because I hear that the neighborhood, they go off like decorations, and I drove around even like a week ago, and some houses were decked out. So I think it'd be fun just to kind of take a walk and stroll around the neighborhood on Halloween. I'm going to a Halloween party at a friend's house in LA. An intimate party. Everybody calm down. It's intimate.
What?
And
don't be afraid. It's okay.
I solved it.
Good. Look it up on the website. Whitehouse.com. No. Anyway, it starts late. Like, the party starts at like 9 p.m. So I was telling Nay, I go, why don't we go to South Pass? Just kind of stroll around, get the vibe a little bit, and before we go to the party, if I'm in town on Halloween, I always stay home, deck out my house, and give out candy. But I don't think we're going to get any trick-or-treaters this year. So I've decided, you know what? I'm just going to take this year off and, go to this party and this and that. So
stock the city.
Yeah. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be really cool. And I'm going to shoot some video, and hopefully I'll share it on my channel of Halloween in Haddonfield.
Do you think you'll go to the Hollywood locations as well, where the Nightmare on Elm Street house is not far away, and the 2 Halloween locations are? Do you think you'll go there Halloween as well?
Nah, that's too far out of the way, and I'm the party I'm going to is nowhere near there. So actually going to Pasadena is kind of out of my way as it is. Yeah, heading to the party. But yeah, and to be honest with you, that area that the babysitter's houses and the Elm Street houses in, it's a crap area. I mean, those neighborhoods are fine, but it's just not South Pasadena as a whole has a small town vibe that's really cool. I mean, you know, you walk to the end of the street of the Elm Street house or the babysitter's houses, and you're on Sunset Boulevard, and it just, there is no vibe there. Yeah.
I know if you ever want to go on Halloween, usually, except for this year, you can't get over there. It's the West Hollywood party. You know, there's 1 million people in the streets over there, and it's almost impossible to get to. But what we're talking about, let's go ahead and quickly move on to a movie which you really like, and Halloween 2. Hey, Sean, tell us about, like, was this a worthy successor? And tell us why you kind of enjoyed watching this movie. You claim, so, maybe even more so than the original.
Well, I mean, I think the second movie, I don't know, the first movie is a better film. There's no doubt about that. The first movie is a better film, but it's it has a lot of mood. The first film has a lot of atmosphere and mood, and it's a slow burn in a way, you know, at times. But the second one, I just loved how it just picked up right where the first one ended. Yeah. And it just kind of jumped right into action. And I think that's one of the things I really appreciated about it. Plus the fact that, and I think I mentioned this before, that my experience with watching that movie for the first time was so amazing. And my Aunt Robin took me to a walk-in theater, and it was a double feature with the Funhouse and Halloween 2. And I didn't know anything about the Funhouse. That played first, fell in love with that movie. It's one of my favorites to this day. And then, so I'm seeing the Funhouse, and it goes right into Halloween 2. I was like, man, this night is like the perfect night. And it was a packed house. People were into it, screaming, yelling. It was a blast. And then I went back like a week later and saw it again on a double feature with An American Werewolf in London, which was the first time I saw that. And it was like, man, you can't beat that year. How epic was that year just for film? I mean, it's just like, I kept seeing all these amazing movies. So I don't know. I just have this fond, when I see Halloween 2, it kind of takes me back to that feeling of when I saw it in the theater those nights and how just epic that was. I mean, my feelings of Halloween, I think back to watching it through the back window of my parents' car, terrified, a totally different feeling. It was being a terrified little kid to being a super stoked, you know, little kid. I mean, it was two different vibes, you know.
Mm-hmm. But I'm going to throw it over to Jake and Luke. But before I do, I got to ask you one thing. Tell us about this. You got a special story, and what is it that we're looking at here?
That's a pumpkin.
Wait, who's behind the pumpkin, man?
Oh, that's an old lady.
All right.
Okay, that's ham and that's mayonnaise. That's the cutting board, the famous cutting board. Yeah, I
with Mrs. Elrod.
Mrs. Elrod, yeah.
Yeah.
I got really lucky, and I got into the Elrod house when I was shooting the Halloween 2 episode, and it just so happens they were the gentleman who had owned it had passed away, and his sister was basically carrying boxes out of the house the day we were there filming. And I came up to her and asked her, you know, told her what we were doing, and she said, "Oh yeah, you know, my brother owned the house, and you know, he passed away suddenly, a heart attack, and we're gonna gut it and remodel it." And so I said, "Oh, you're gonna remodel it?" She goes, "Yeah, we're gonna gut the entire house." I said, "Well, what about the kitchen?" I said, "That's where the main shot was filmed." She said, "Oh yeah, we're totally tearing it out." And I said, "Well, look, this is like the last chance for the fans to see it the way it was in the film. Is there any way you'd let us just film a little something?" And she was super cool, and she said, "Sure." So we shot our thing. She was super nice. And then I even interviewed her on the porch of the house. And then I said, "So you're going to tear all this out and it's all just going to get trashed?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Can I have this cutting board?" And she kind of at first was a little, at first she mentioned charging me for it, which I was like, "Oh, you know, I'll $100, I'll pay you for it. And she said, you know what, just take it. And I was like, okay. So I got lucky. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you had a bunch of signatures on it as well, right?
Yeah, I took it to was it the 35th convention, I think, and I pretty much had everybody sign. I had them sign the edges, and then I had Jamie sign the front of it. So,
fantastic.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, you didn't get the chalkboard. You later realized.
Oh yeah,
you talk about.
That's right. I forgot about the chalkboard. Yeah, when I went back, when I was editing the episode, we recreated the shots. So I'm watching the film and I'm watching our shots, and I see the POV of him coming in, and you see as he goes through the door, the back door, you see this chalkboard on the wall, this little chalkboard. It was about that big. And I see it in the shot of our episode, and there it is on the wall, and I'm like, holy shit, that chalkboard was still there. I could have grabbed that too, but the thing is, I mean, if you say that even to any Halloween 2 fan, hey, I got the chalkboard from the kitchen of Miss Elrod's house, they'd be like, the chalkboard? You probably wouldn't remember it. The cutting board, everybody remembers.
Oh yeah,
everybody knows that cutting board. Yeah.
One of my favorite things about Halloween 2 is how unique it is, in the sense that when they were filming it, they were additionally filming scenes for the TV version of Halloween. So I'm sure Sean, I know you've seen this. Have you guys seen the extended cut? Sorry, it's kind of. So this is the DVD it's the original Halloween film, but there's additional scenes of like Laurie in her bedroom talking to Amy, I think, but it's just like additional scenes they had to shoot to make up the full running time to have it on network TV.
Yeah.
And it's such a unique thing to watch, because you can tell that there's been how many years, like 3 years difference in between. So you can see Laurie, walking down the sidewalk, and then next scene, she looks totally different. She's in the wig and stuff,
Yeah.
So that's always been a fun thing about Halloween 2 for me, is that connection.
That's cool.
Well, I don't know if we talked about this before, but how I discovered the Elm Street house was used in Halloween. Did we discuss this?
Oh, but it's no longer around. So let's talk about it.
So, well, what happened was so the Elm Street house, this is back in oh boy, I want to say the early 2000s, the Elm Street house went on market to be sold, and they were having an open house. So of course I drove up there. Even though I had heard they didn't use the interior, it was all sets, I still wanted to see the inside of that house. So I went in, took tons of photos. I mean, they did shoot some shots looking out the window of Nancy's room upstairs, and you can see like the closet next door and stuff. But for the most part, the inside of the house is completely different than you see in the movie. So I had taken those photos, and then a few years later, actually, I was watching the TV cut of Halloween, and they have that additional scene where Laurie comes down the stairs. PJ's at the door, and she's saying, someone's following me. And I'm looking at that living room, and I'm saying, I've seen that. I recognize this room. And what really caught my eye was in the background near the stairs, there was a rocking horse. And I said, I've seen that. Where have I seen that? And I said, is that the Elm Street? And I pulled up my pictures and I compared it. Dead on, 100%. It's the living room from the Elm Street house. And
Nice.
And then when they cut to the scene, Annie calling them, she's in Nancy's bedroom. They shot that in Nancy's bedroom. You can see her closet and you can see the windows. So I guess 3 years before Elm Street was filmed in that house, Halloween was there first.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I've never heard that. That's a really cool connection.
Yeah, I did. There was an article. I think Bloody Disgusting did an article about my discovery, and they posted comparison photos. I've actually been thinking of, I'm doing these little update Horrors Hollow Grounds videos for locations I find later. Like I'm about to do one for Night of the Creeps because I finally found the alley where he kills the zombie. So I'm going to do that one soon. But I was thinking of doing an updated one on this subject as well, just to kind of show. Unfortunately, I didn't shoot any video, but I have tons of photos, so I can use
that would be
them.
great to see. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Hey, we're not going to spend a lot of time on them, but John, why don't you just run through what's the good, the bad, and the ugly of parts 4, 5, 6, and 7? Like, is there anything good about that group of films? Because a lot of people, you know, they jump all the way onto H2O, which we'll talk about in just a second. But the Forgotten Halloween.
Well, 7 was H2O.
7
right?
is H2O, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Which one is H2O?
7.
Okay, not 7 then.
Yeah,
So
4, 5, and 6.
4, 5, and 6. Yeah.
Rank them for us.
He ranked them on his show.
Well, I think 4 is the better of those 3.
Oh yeah.
And then probably would go, I guess, shit, I don't even remember what order I put them in. I maybe 6, then 5. I don't know. But you know, I think at least with 4 and 5, 4 has a cool vibe to it, has a good look. I mean, if you had used a good mask in part 4, that movie would have been so much better. Yeah. And didn't have the shoulder pad like this, you know. Think of Michael Myers in Halloween 1 or 2. If you could digitally replace him, you know, with Myers from part 1 and all the scenes in part 4, it got to be such a better movie, you know. Part 5 is just a mess. Cinematically, it's beautiful. I mean, it's really well shot and it looks good. But you know, it's just, you know, there's this. I don't understand what the thought process was. Hey, you know, let's trust our biggest franchise that just had this. Part 4 was a massive hit, you know, #1 at the box office. Let's trust it to this like first time French director. What? Whose idea was that? You know, I mean, the guy's never done anything since that I can even. I mean, he kind of went away into obscurity, and then, you know, just the faux pas with the fucking mask changes and the Myers house suddenly looked like the Munsters house. There's no continuity at all.
Yeah.
And then part 6, you know, the mask got better. But then again, they're trying to tie this whole cult thing in, Thorn, and you know, and I've always said the thing that makes Michael Myers scary is not knowing. I don't want it explained. Right. I don't want it explained. So, you know, jumping to H2O, you know, it's
do it. Let's talk about the movie that saved the franchise, I think.
Yeah, it did. You know, it's a little bubblegum in respect that it's kind of on the tail end of that Kevin Williamson movement of Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer. So it's got that cheese factor. But it's a well-made movie. It has some good stuff in it. It's not corny. I thought it was a good follow-up to H2.
Yeah. Plus Laurie's character. Wow. Gee, that was it. I loved the development of the Laurie Strode character.
Mm-hmm. That felt more like her than the 2018. As far as knowing her from the original, like you'd expect more of the H2O versus the kind of like the haggard, just fire a gun.
Well, see, that's where they made the mistake in omitting H2. I mean, omitting H2, I think it changed a lot of the plausibility of 2018 because, again, I think we talked about this before. You know, it wasn't that big of a deal. He only killed a few people on Halloween. It wasn't this madman that massacred a fucking hospital full of people. And, you know, had you included Halloween 2 into that mix, the lore, and she would be traumatized having gone through that at home and then suddenly had to go through it again at a hospital. And this guy would have probably mentally ruined her. and she would be this character we saw in 2018. But with just part one, it's like, what, you've been sitting around for 40 years, like really setting booby traps and building like, rooms and basements with the fucking moving thing in the kitchen. It's like, it's way too far-fetched.
Yeah.
And I mean, I enjoyed that. That's Chris Nelson, by the way, in that picture.
That's the man right there.
Yeah, that's Chris Nelson.
For those of you just listening, we're showing the picture of Laurie Strode from 2018 film when the hand coming through the window, the Shape's hand coming through the window after her in her cabin. That's Chris Nelson. That's awesome.
Yeah, he wore the mask for that scene and did that part. But yeah, it's just I'm really disappointed they decided to disregard Halloween 2. Plus, I like the brother sister thing.
I do too.
I think it gives him motivation to go after her. So that's one of my issues with 2018 is disregarding the second film. They shouldn't have done that.
I agree. A lot of people, they love what they call the sister trilogy, parts 1, 2, and H2O, because it tells the perfect story. And spoiler warning, Laurie finishes the story at the end of H2O, and that was a perfect ending. I'm not saying I don't want to see more Halloween.
Until Resurrection ruined it.
Yeah.
Sean, what was that?
They killed an innocent man.
I remember seeing the trailer for Resurrection, and I'm just being like, what? How? Why? No. Like,
Busta Rhymes.
Resurrection looked like an MTV series. Like if Halloween was an MTV series, it would have been Resurrection.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just we've talked about it, and Luke, you had a certain question about the mask, right? What was your question?
Yeah, I was just wondering if you want to talk about just the evolution of the mask over the years, and
just look at part 5. I'm sorry, part 5 is so bad.
Yeah.
Neck. Sorry.
Yeah, like why did they change it up? What did you think of the different masks? And just talk about the evolution of the mask.
You talking to me?
Oh yeah, Sean. Yeah,
yeah, Sean.
I mean, I like the mask from 1 and 2, obviously. Part 4, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. I mean, it was close, but it just wrong. 5, you got me. 6, I like what he did with 6. It seemed like with part 6, Buechler was trying to recreate the look on the Halloween 4 poster. He kind of gave it those sharp edges on the lips and stuff. H2O, that's a whole mess, because there was all these different masks in that film. But the one that they ended up with, the Winston version, is one of my favorites.
Oh, cool.
Originally it was K&B, right?
It was originally Buechler's mask from part 6, and they shot that scene with where Nancy Stevens gets killed in the house. I own that mask.
Nice.
And then they replaced it with the K&B one. Shot the rest of the movie with that. Then went back and reshot all the close-ups with the Winston version.
There's one scene in that too where they had to do a CGI updated mask over the K&B, right? Because,
the reason the kid Adam Hahn Bird, I think's his name. He couldn't. They couldn't get him back. I guess to film that scene with the new mask, so they just did this really impressive CGI one. And
luckily, it's fast. But when you know about it and you look at it, you're like, "Oh man, that looks bad."
Yeah, it's hard not to see it. And then Resurrection, I refer to that as the metrosexual Michael mask, because it's like perfectly like groomed, in every way.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. It's better than the H5 mask. It's actually better than the H4 mask, I think, too. But it's too airbrushed.
Yeah.
The hairline is too perfect. The eyebrows are too perfect. It's all perfect. I love what Wayne Toth did with the Rob Zombie one. I thought it was cool. I didn't dig the H2 version where half of it was missing.
Yeah.
And then of course what Chris Nelson did with 2018, I really dig.
Yep.
And I don't know if you guys saw the trailer. The new teaser dropped today.
It dropped today, did it?
Yeah,
today
and
being October 29, by the way.
Yeah, so you can see the new mask in the new trailer.
Nice.
They show it pretty well. You can see it pretty well. You guys already like, oh my god, got to get on and see it.
Brian, let's end the interview real quick. No, just kidding.
You see it pretty good in the trailer. They showed it pretty well. So there's already screen captures all over the internet of people showing it.
That's cool.
But I think people, when they get a good look at that, are going to dig what he did for Kills as well.
Cool.
You guys are you'll be happy.
I love the Mike's world. All right, so we are kind of getting close to the end here. So Jake and Mike, once you guys, I know you guys have a couple of questions. Mike, Jake, let me throw one out there while you get. We talked about 2018, what you thought they did right and what they did wrong. Can you just tell us, Sean? And I know that you've been on set and you can't really talk about it, but what are you excited about for the Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, the next movies in the franchise?
Well, I'm not excited for Halloween Ends yet because I don't know anything about it really. I've heard. I can't say anything. All right. Anyway. Yeah, so
come on, say something.
I can't. Kills. I'm excited. I'm excited for people to see it. I'm excited to see what I saw. Let people see what what I was there watching them shoot. There's some really cool stuff. There's some really awesome surprises that they don't give away in the trailers. There's a few really awesome surprises that fans are going to lose their minds over.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's not there. There's been no hints to them as far as I know. So I'm excited to see the reaction. It's just a bummer we have to wait a whole year,
Yeah.
Was the writer Scott Teams there?
He was on set.
Yeah.
He was. Wait, no. Wait, was he? Or am I think? Yeah, he was. I think he was. I think I met him on set. Yeah.
I know him.
Yeah,
I know him.
Friends with him.
Oh, you know him?
Yeah. Good guy.
Okay.
Real good guy.
He let you read the script?
Well, hell no.
I don't want to.
Yeah, he won't come on.
I got a copy of it right here.
What? Jake,
Yeah.
what questions do you have?
Screenshot. No.
Screenshot. Get it.
We didn't really talk about the Rob Zombie movies.
He does have it. Wait, he does have it.
Don't you open that page.
But
don't.
I cover the shoot date on, but you can see my name ghosted across it.
Nice.
We didn't really talk. We just asked real quick about the Rob Zombie movies. What are your thoughts on the? Well, I know you don't like H2, but what did you think of his first? I guess the remake of Halloween.
I hated it the first time I saw it, but over the years, I've gone back and revisited it, and I appreciate what he was trying to do. I've become more open to it over the years, but part 2, I can't get behind at all. I enjoy the opening, like the first 25 minutes of her being stalked in the hospital.
Yeah.
But soon as that's like, oh, psych, it's a dream. That's when they lost me. Then the movie just kind of went downhill from there. I was like, wow, this is a great opening. The kicking ass. This is cool. This is exciting. And then it just goes, what? Are you kidding me?
Wife rides in on the horse. I'm like,
I don't need no horses.
Nah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's what they lose me.
Yeah. I thought the first one, Rob Zombie's first one, was okay. It's like you said earlier, the best thing about Michael Myers is that you don't know a lot of his backstory and like the reason why he's doing it. And the fact that they delve into that kind of takes away the the mystique and like what makes it scary for me. But
exactly,
I thought visually it's cool. The mask is a really cool looking new idea they had at the time. I haven't watched it in a while, but I remember the last time I watched it just thinking like this really is a Rob Zombie movie, because like every other word is the F word. Everyone is just super trashy, even though it's Haddonfield, Illinois. Everyone acts like they're in like a, I don't know, Texas, like,
hey, don't mess with Texas.
It's very, very, so yeah.
And he doesn't talk. Michael Myers does not talk.
That was, when he's stabbing, he's going, and then at the end, die. I mean, it was just like, what, really?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna. Hey, Cheeseman, do you have anything before we? We have one last movie
for this one.
What's that?
I'll do the Nick Castle for this one. Have the mask
Dr.
on my
Pepper.
head. Just need my Dr. Pepper. But like, what are some of your favorite like collectibles or things you've gotten over the years? Like either props or just like cool like like shirts or just different things. Like what have been your favorite things you've collected with kind of the whole series
of Halloween?
Yeah, Halloween franchise.
Well, I mean, God, there's so much. I mean, as far as one of the coolest things is the Nick Castle gave me his personally used script from Halloween 1.
Oh my gosh, that's the best gift ever.
Yeah. It was crazy too, because I was over at his house and we had just done like a signing. And he goes, "Oh, check out what I found." And he brings in this tattered, 40-year-old script. And I'm like, "Oh my God, this is your original script?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I found it in a box in the garage." And I go, "Oh my God, what are you going to do with this?" And he goes, "I'm giving it to you." And I'm like, "What?" I was blown away.
Wow.
I was blown away. I was like, "Wow, that is,
Did he sign it for you?
No, I didn't want it signed. I want to keep it original as is.
Yeah.
You want those fingerprints all over it.
Yeah, I see people, people that have original scripts and they have people autograph it, and I kind of go, it's kind of. I don't like to have props signed. The only exception was the cutting board. I was kind of like, I was even on the fence about that, but it was in a situation where I had it because I had brought it to the convention to display it, and I had like almost everybody from H2 there, and I was like, you know what? I wouldn't want it all cluttered on the board, but maybe on the edges would be kind of cool, you know? So I went ahead and did that. And
dude, that's amazing though.
Cool.
That the cutting board with all the H2 cast members signing it, that's amazing. We do have to ask though, Jake, you're wearing a shirt right now. We didn't talk about this one. We're gonna ask
the black sheep.
The black sheep of the family, Halloween 3. Where does that fit in the franchise as far as like quality?
Well, if you know the history of it, it was originally meant to be a whole new thing that they were going to do an anthology series, and each year have a different story that's centered around Halloween. Because after Halloween 2, Michael Myers was done. They were done with the character, and they weren't going to do anything else. So for me, growing up and seeing these movies, I never once heard a positive thing about this movie from other kids or people who were horror fans. Like everyone was like, that movie sucks, don't watch it has nothing to do with Michael Myers, it's a waste of time. So unfortunately for years I bought into that and I didn't even like bother. I'm like, oh, that's the one, I don't need to see that one.
I feel like you showed me parts of it, like but you were like fast forwarding, like we didn't watch the whole thing. You're like, oh, you got this part.
I think we rented it in high school or something, and even then I was just like, yeah, I watched it, and I showed you like the cool parts, like the surprise, near the end and everything. And even then, I wasn't a big fan. And then it wasn't until a couple of years ago, starting to go to conventions like Horror Hound and things like that, and seeing how many fans of Halloween 3 there were and all this love, I was like, I'm going to give this movie another chance. Yeah. So I don't know, 10 years ago, I sat down and watched it again. I was like, this movie's great. There's nothing wrong with it. The only problem it has is that it has the name Halloween 3.
Yeah.
If it was just called Season of the Witch, no one would ever complain about it. There'd be no criticism. It would just be that other cool 80s horror movie with Tom Atkins and about the Halloween mask. So it gets a bad rep because of that. And but it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it in a while, check it out. Just watch it with an open mind and not.
Yeah. Speaking of Tom Atkins, hey, Sean, you've had Tom at the conventions, right?
Yeah, I work with Tom. Yeah,
he's hilarious.
Wait. When's this gonna air?
We're posting it today.
Today. Okay. I can't really say then.
Or
but
tomorrow.
I will say this.
Tomorrow. But go ahead.
Huh?
It might post
today or tomorrow.
Okay. Well, I've been working on a top secret project that is going to go up on my YouTube channel on Halloween. And I will just say that it involves many, 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 many cast members from the various Halloween films. And I can't say what it is. I don't even want to say what it's called, but it will be on my YouTube channel on Halloween as a gift to the fans. And I will just say Tom Atkins is involved, and he sent me his bit yesterday, and it's hilarious. So
I can't wait to see. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
What is the name of your YouTube channel?
At Malfunction. It's Malfunction. It's
right there on the screen. Cool.
Yeah, so it's basically Malfunction is my YouTube channel, and that's where the thing with two heads is. That's where Horror's Hallowed Grounds is. All that stuff is on there.
We do have to wrap up, guys. Luke and Jake, I have one last question for Sean, but you guys go first before I finish up.
Go ahead, Luke.
So with the Halloween 3 thing, do you think part of it was like how many of the Jasons and stuff had been out? Like, did Jason or something like that create this pattern of like, oh, the main killer can die, but then keep coming back to life? So did people create this expectation that this killer could die, but then just keep coming back to life, and that's why they were kind of so critical against Halloween 3?
Well,
I just think that it was, like Jake said. People expected Michael Myers. And I know I did. I went and saw it in the theater when it opened. My Aunt Robin, who took me to see part 2, she took me to see part 3. And I remember sitting in the theater and saying to her, are we in the right movie? Where's Michael Myers? And I remember thinking something was wrong. Maybe we were in the wrong theater. And when it was all over with and I realized, okay, this is not a Michael Myers film, I was pissed.
Yeah.
And my anger for not getting the movie I was expecting overshadowed what I just watched, And it wasn't until probably late 80s I revisited Halloween 3 and started to fall in love with it again. I've kind of championed that film for a long time where people were shitting on it. Now suddenly, for some reason, it's cool to like part 3. But for years, I was fighting with people. I just think that, they like Jake said, they should have never called it Halloween 3. It should have just been called Halloween, the Season of the Witch.
Yeah. It's funny too, because in the original trailers and TV spots, they never once gave any clue that there was no Michael Myers. It was the tagline was just the night no one comes home. And
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. They're using a similar tagline, which makes you think it's a sequel. You're calling it Halloween 3. You're giving it a similar tagline. So if it is a sequel, why does it not connect at all? It doesn't. It shouldn't have been called Halloween 3. That's the problem.
Right.
I got to tell you though, that tagline, "The night no one comes home," I thought that was the cleverest way to attach it to the series. Sort of. It's such a clever way. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It was a big letdown, but if people understood what they were getting, the tagline's great. Jake, do you have a final question for Sean?
I do. I was gonna say.
I was going to real quick before it's almost as clever as the tagline we used for the convention. The night everyone comes home.
Yay!
But
anyway,
I guess I have a question.
That's really good. I love that one. Yeah.
I guess I do have a question because you've worked with Jamie at the convention, the Horror Hound, and she always said that would be the one and done. Has she given any hint that she would do another one, or is it still that's it?
Yeah, we actually were discussing doing another one for this year.
Wow.
There was talk of her possibly doing another one this past September that just passed.
Wow.
It wasn't set in stone. We were talking about it. She was open to it. And then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And so until knowing the type of person she is, until there's a full handle on that, you won't see her at a convention ever again.
Sure.
Makes
Sure.
sense.
So, yeah.
Hey, Sean, as we end today, thank you again for coming on. We just have to ask, we're all big Halloween fans. It's had its ups, its downs, its starts, its beginnings. Is there any life left in the Halloween franchise, do you think, after Halloween ends? The movie Halloween ends.
Of course. I mean, this franchise is going to outlive all of us. It will. I mean, it's one of those things that it's just going to keep. It's going to keep going. I don't see it ever ending. It's like Star Wars and Star Trek. It's weird when you start to think about your mortality. As I hit 50, I start thinking about how long I'm going to be. How many more years I have on this rock, and I think to myself, wow, there's probably going to be a Star Wars movie I won't ever see, or a Halloween movie I won't ever see, because eventually I'm going to die and they're going to keep going. Do you think Donald Pleasance would have ever thought they'd still be going? I highly doubt it. So yeah, I think they'll figure out another way to reboot it. Or maybe they'll veer off in telling other stories, maybe, a young Donald Pleasance, a young Sam Loomis story about other patients he worked with, or, there's ways that you could, that'd be a cool series, I think, kind of like Hannibal, if you did something like the Sam Loomis files, or,
I would love that.
But there's a lot of, as long as the bottom line is, as long as this thing is making money, it's going to keep going. Yeah. The only thing that can kill Michael Myers is the box office, and that's the truth.
This is true. Hey, as we end, Luke, you had one.
People need masks right now.
Yeah.
What's that?
People definitely need masks right now, so Michael Myers is definitely in need.
Yep.
He's in fashion again.
I know.
Did you guys see my friend Andrew Cash's short film, Halloween is Canceled?
We were about to ask you about that.
We were about to
ask you that our friend Jamie is Michael.
Jamie Vera was Michael.
No, okay. He's wearing my mask.
Yeah, Jamie wanted us to tell you thank you for the mask that he was wearing.
Well, he didn't get to keep it. I got it.
He was almost gonna come on the panel with us today, but he had to work today. So that was awesome. Yeah, Halloween is Canceled. If you guys haven't seen it, that's so funny. It's such a good.
Well, you know that Andrew Cash, who directed that short, he's been a part of Horror's Hall Grounds since the first episode. He's my editor, and yeah, so
that thing's like gone viral. It's got it's way up there. So we posted it out.
I knew it would. I told him it would. When he told me what he was doing, I was like, oh man. Yeah, I said, dude, that thing's gonna blow up, because I know he's a great filmmaker. He did. He's directed Legends of Tomorrow, and he directed one of the segments in Tales of Halloween, the one I'm in. So he's a great director.
Wait, what are you in? You're in this.
The movie Tales of Halloween.
Yeah.
The segment This Means War with James Duvall.
You're in that?
Yeah, I'm James Duvall's friend. If you look. I'm with him like most of the time at his little party on his lawn. I'm in a skull makeup.
Oh, I'm going to go back and watch it. That's pretty cool. Cool. All right, guys, we do have to finish up. Halloween is quickly approaching. We are very close, so we need to get out and get everything decorated, get our candy bought for the kids who won't be coming this year. All right. So, Cheeseman, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me right here at Cheese on Couch on both Instagram and on Twitter. Also can find me at The Scare Guy on the social medias. And we're also going to be posting a video that we did of some location stuff of me dressed up like Michael Myers visiting some locations as well. So it's a video we did a few years ago, but I think we're going to repost it on our site.
Michael Myers goes back to Haddonfield.
Yeah. And I do have to say, check out this awesome shirt right here. This is for sale on monstertease.com. That's TEASE.com. But they do a lot of cool monster and like slasher and all these cool like horror character stuff. He's a big fan. Eric's a big fan of this stuff and does really cool shirts. So definitely check them out. I think they might even have a tank top of this or something, or of some different things. But yeah, cool. They have guys and girls shirts.
I like that shirt. That's cool.
Yeah. You should hit them up, like send them a DM, say you know us. Maybe I'll send you some stuff.
Yeah. We've been hearing on your show, Sean, you guys like free stuff. You're trying to get
free shit.
Hey,
Yeah,
go ahead. What were you saying?
Like I just got this. This was free. The good people at Gutter Garbs just sent me this.
I love that. That's such a
nice
great
print.
And they might be making the Thing with Two Heads t-shirts pretty soon. We'll see.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome. I got to say, congratulations to Jake. You're a new dad, a brand new.
Thanks.
Yeah, where's the baby?
Yeah, she's upstairs.
God.
She's been down in the nerd cave, and she's stared at all the collectibles and everything wide-eyed, and I'm like, okay, you can look.
It'd be fun when she can creep downstairs. You might need a lock.
Yeah.
Jake, is she dressing up for Halloween?
She has like just a pumpkin costume and stuff like that.
Of course, it's awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, Jake, where can people follow you and find out what's going on with you?
You can find me on Instagram at the Jacoba System, and you'll just see a lot of baby pictures on there now. But usually, I'm posting stuff about different tiki mugs and music, movies, that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. And of course, Sean, what's going on with you, and how can people find out more information?
Well, you can find me right here. There you go. Malfunction on Twitter and Instagram, and on Facebook. It's Facebook. .com/Sean Clark Official, because my personal one is full, so I have to have the stupid fan one. And then my YouTube channel is Malfunction, and that's where Thing with Two Heads, Horrors Hallowed Grounds, me eating stupid food, things like that. And the thing we're going to drop this Saturday on Halloween, the Halloween special gift for the fans video, which I don't want to say what it is, but you'll see it on Saturday. And then also we're going to drop the new episode of Thing with Two Heads on Saturday with special guest PJ Souls. And other than that, just living, man. Livin.
All right. That's awesome.
All right.
You got to like what
I like about the nice school girl. Anyway.
Follow us here at thescareguy.com. Also, you can follow me at Jim Frye LA. That is on Twitter, or James D. Frye on Instagram. But you can always find me here at The Scare Guy or at our sister site, The Con Guy. Guys, thank you so much. This is going to be a different kind of Halloween, but I think it's going to be a fun one. So if we might bump into Sean walking around South Pasadena with Luke dressed up as Michael Myers this Saturday. We'll see what happens.
Peeking out from behind a bush, spying on.
Yeah, I'm going to scare Sean. Check out at Scare Jim on Instagram and see Jim getting jump scared himself.
One of Luke's favorite things is to scare me every chance he gets, and then posting him on Instagram on the official Scare Jim Instagram. Go check those out, guys. All right, happy Halloween 2020, guys. It's going to be a good one.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Bye, guys.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah.